Welcome back, everybody. This week is the week that I leave for the tour of the Book of Mormon. Very excited. It's Monday. I'm not sure what the date is. I don't have my watch on me. But it's Monday and I leave Thursday. Thursday being the 15th of September 2022. So that would make today 13, the 12th, I guess. Anyway, so this is the week. I have to have everything packed up, ready to go. Really excited. And guess what's back? Look what came back last week, right before the weekend. So happy to have the Holton back. This thing is going out on tour with me. This is a Holton TR 180 from, I think the serial number has it manufactured in 1972. I could be mistaken. Beautiful old horn. I bought it cheap. Well, cheap for a double valve bass trombone anyway. A few years ago, and I've had some work done with it. It has custom linkage, new instrument innovation, rotary valves on it. I've had the attachment tubing length shortened slightly, and on this Holton, I'm playing a Stork 1 1/4 S. Yeah, 1 1/4 S in the heavy body shape. There's not a lot of bass trombone at all in the show. Maybe like 24, 26 bars in total, honestly. But I would be bringing this. I could get away with playing the bass trombone parts on my tenor. But, I would be bringing this bass trombone anyway on tour, even if it was a tenor-only show. I like staying on top of it. It's such a different feel and sort of sound concept compared to the tenor that I don't want to leave it for a year and have to come back to it, and relearn the instrument. So I have a double case that will be carrying both instruments. And the book calls for bass anyway, so why not bring it? On this Holton, I had the lead pipe pulled. The original lead pipe, which is right here, was cracked, starting to rot away, and honestly not a very good pipe. This lead pipe is a custom-made lead pipe from Brad Close in Southern California. This is the Schatz Minnick model, replicated out of a Minnick lead pipe that Larry Minnick made for Jack Schatz, bass trombonist in New York, for his TR 185 or 183, his Holton. So it was designed for Holton's similar slide, so I figure it's a good match. I like the way it plays. This one's seamed. I don't know if you can see this in the camera, but there is a seam line. It has a great feel and response. I love the feedback I get from it. I also have a Shires number 2 that I had ordered for this horn, and it works well. It's a bit more compact, more centered, but the low end isn't quite as open. I definitely prefer this Brad Close pipe. Anyway, great horn, rose brass bell. It's like 9 7/8 inches, so big bell. Nickel silver slide and yellow end crook on it, and this one came with both the E pull and this D pull for the second valve. So I really love this horn. Uh, the main star of the show, for me anyway, is my Shires medium bore tenor trombone. I had this ordered, put together for me maybe 7 years ago, something like that, and played it a lot, and it looks like it. I mean, the lacquer's coming off in places. I've had to have the slide repaired before, but it's a great horn. It's really solid, it's reliable, and it's versatile, and that's why I had it built the way I did. This is their 7YLW bell in 8 inches, which means it's a 2-piece bell with a soldered rim and lightweight, so it's very thin. Good response on it, brightens up pretty quickly, which is great for these commercial shows. It's a nickel, lightweight nickel slide, no oversleeves on it, nickel end crook, and it's a, let's see, what's the model number? T25NLW is what it's labeled as, which means it's a 525 bore horn. That's 0.525 inches as the bore size, which is medium bore, in between an orchestral and a jazz size of trombone, which makes it versatile. As discussed last week, I've picked out the Marcinkiewicz 9B with an H throat. It's a custom-made piece. And it is going into, we're not going to be able to see the stamping, I don't think, but it is going into one of their M1 pipes. It tightens up the core of the instrument, gives it more clear articulations. I find it's a bit punchier, which is why I picked it for this show. It's also a bit more stable. I was picking between this pipe and the M1.5. I don't know if you can see that. The 1.5 is just a little unstable. I have these are both small shank lead pipes. I have a large shank number 2 from Shires for this horn as well. But the 1.5 is just a little unstable, especially in the mid-range. In the staff in particular, and at my pivot point, it's just a little unpredictable at times. It's more open, and actually like a little bit brighter, I would say, or at least a little bit beefier up top. But I think the number 1 pipe works much better. This rotor is their dual bore rotor. It's very how would I describe this? It's a compact sound. It's not very broad. It's very centered and focused. Honestly, the best rotary valve I think I've played on any horn. It's just very focused and centered and even in color. And then I had 2 choices for for tuning slides, main tuning slides. This one's a gold brass slide that I bought secondhand. And the one I originally ordered for this horn is their yellow brass tuning slide. And the difference between the two is, the yellow brass is brighter, clearer articulations. You can really hear it back behind your left ear, which is great for like live pop shows, or big band, or when I was working on cruise ships. That's when I ordered and had this horn built, and the sound could be so the sound design of the stage could be so unreliable or non-existent, depending on what part of the ship you were playing, that I really wanted something that I could hear easily, and that could brighten up well. So that's why I had the yellow brass slide, yellow brass bell, lightweight bell, fitted with the nickel slide and the original yellow brass tuning slide. But more recently I've been playing sort of more nuanced stuff, and really needing a softer touch at times, at least in terms of articulation. And that's why I've been playing mostly this gold brass tuning slide. The difference between gold brass and yellow brass is about 15% copper. There's 15% more copper in a gold brass slide compared to a yellow brass slide, and that changes the color, the overtones that you get out of a sound, and it also changes the attack of your articulation somewhat. The gold brass slide being a bit warmer. It's not so aggressive. It's broadens the sound a little bit, at least to my ears. I'll show you the case real quick. It's been on a previous video. Some of you may have seen it. This is a Marcus Bana double case. In my previous video, I discussed kind of some issues with one main issue with this case, which is the valve lever on the tenor trombone that sits on top is pressing into the lid of the case. But I think I've worked it out. Anyway, this is a good case. It's heavy when everything's loaded. I'm going to be packing the trombone stands. My mutes, I use 3 mutes for this show. Bucket mute, this is a Joe Rao. It's heavy, you know, when you have it in the horn, but it sounds great. Plays a little flat. A classic stone-lined cup mute. These things are great. I don't know why anybody would order a different kind of cup mute. Says the guy who ordered a Dennis Wick bass trombone cup mute. All right, and this is an Alessi straight mute made by LeBlanc. And, you know, I don't know, I've thought about different, you know, getting a copper bottom straight mute, but why in a pit, you know? You don't need the projection, you just need a straight mute sound in your horn. This thing's nice and bright, and it sounds the way it's supposed to sound. So only 3 mutes in the show. Anyway, that's it for this week. I'm going to be flying Thursday. I'm going to be shifting to, I think, a later in the week video release for these vlog posts. I'm going to be in tech, so I don't know how much time I'm going to have, but I'll try and get something out regarding, you know, how things are going, and I want to produce something once a week, so it may not be this early in the week, it may be later, but just keep your eyes out. Subscribe if you're interested, hit a like if you've enjoyed it, and I'll see you out on the road.